There's a light in that tunnel after all. Okay, we got some light. All right, perfect. Okay, so we got the head gasket on there. We got two tubes on there. Now the reason I put those on there is because sometimes there's not enough room to get the tube up in there, especially when these things are hanging down pretty far like these ones are. So it's better to do it now. No, let's do it later. Okay, so these go up on here like this. Yep. And don't drop them, preferably. Goes. So one goes. Two.
Is that one bent from the magneto?
Yeah, it has a special curve in it to clear the magneto. That thing right there gets in the way. Rotate it. Custom by Harley Davidson.
Yeah.
And that one fit. That one's not quite fitting. That one made it. Oh, big time clearance on that one. Good, all the push rods should fit in there. Sometimes they don't fit. If not, put them in now, it makes it easier. Okay, so we got to take the bolts, put some lube on here so we can torque them. Scooby, your tail's in the way down there. Move your tail. Stepping on Scooby's tail. So we put a little thread lubricant on there. Looks like blood, but it's not. At least not today. 900s take hex head bolts, and early 1000s take X head. Late 1000 take 12 point. Late being mid 73. And the 1000 head bolts are about a ½ inch longer than these ones too. So they're different. And big twin bolts look like these, but they're only about this long. These are longer. So we try to put these into big twins. They don't fit very well. Big twins being a panhead or a shovel head. Most of the time they bottom out and then your head gasket blows because it's not torqued. And I have seen that more than once. Alright, those are in. Motor's getting heavier. Okay, you can see why we had to trim that gasket away that was over here. That went across because it gets away the hex head. You can see how the rocker box has been cut away to clear a large socket. So that's something they did on the earlier boxes a lot more. See how the deepness of the cut in that thing? The late bikes have the 12 points, they don't cut them away as much, so it's hard to put the late boxes on these early motors because they get in the way. There's no room. So, things you learn. So we just take these and tighten them on down a little bit. Just go down until they touch. Make sure they all are in there a little ways. I go down until they just touch and I back off until they're loose. That way I can still move the heads around a little bit. See a lot of clearance in these where you can play with them. So I rotate them inward a little bit, like that. And that's where I pull them down until I just touch. Just barely put any pressure on it. Just enough to hold it down there good. We do the same thing on this one. Get all the bolts started first, obviously. Okay, heads are down. Okay, now we gotta do the important part. Fit the intake manifold. This one had dropped on the floor last night and accidentally got cut on the inside. I don't know how that happened. Actually, that was a couple days ago. So you lay it up on there and you see how close it fits. And you go, ooh, that looks like crap. Now what do I do? And the adjustment is needed. It's called an adjustment tool. It's fully rotated all the way in. So you lay it up on here and you check the fitment of it. In this case, it looks like it's pretty close. See, the back head can come out just a little bit. The front head looks like it's pretty good. See how it lines up really nice right there. This one here is just a tick off on the back one, so you got to rotate it just slightly out. So you take your adjustment tool and you go slight more movement. Like that. I'm not sure if it moved or not, so you got to come back and look. Doesn't look like it moved it much. Yeah, it's got a little bit of gap in there. Yeah, pretty close. See, look at the gap between the O-ring surfaces right over here. This edge right here versus this edge right there. The inner one actually, but I think it's pretty close. So when you look through the port, when you're all done, it'll line up pretty good in there. So I'm thinking the exhaust might need to go. See, it's got a big gap on the back side there. That means the head's not rotated pretty good. So I don't think it moved when I tapped it, so I'll move it a little bit further. If you hold your hand out, you can tell if it moves easily. Pretty close. Okay, once you get it close and you torque them down a little more, this will squeeze down a little bit as you do this because there's always a gap in there a little bit. Okay, double check because that's going to drop the heads, which will change everything a little bit. That's why you want to go a little bit. That's why I want to hit a little bit extra the first time because I know it's going to drop slightly. That looks pretty close. Okay. So when you get that where you want it to be, then you put a little torque on these and close them down. Where's your torque wrench?
It's right there.
Is that the one we're using?
I really used it.
It's one of these. Go like this. That's the torque wrench I like. It's pretty good, doesn't it? It's come in here sometimes. The 12 point can definitely come in here, so I do my race bike. 6 point, yeah, it didn't quite work as good. Can't get a second strike in there. Have to be able to flip the wrench over. And it kind of fits. Not 100% of the bolt though. Yeah, except that one bolt I was able to get to. This one here is not quite going out. It's able to make it though. So I just take the wrench and I flip it like this back and forth and allows me to get the hex in there. It's a little tight though, but get in there. So So like I said, this is one way of doing it. There's multiple ways of doing things. What's nice about this method is you have access to it when the frame's in the way.
So take your push rods out.
Okay, let's check our gap here again. See which way I'm putting the manifold in that direction. So, the rear head is slightly off still. Kind of like where it is right now. So let me come back and unadjust it a little bit. The other way to torque is called a breaker bar. The short extension works better than this longer one. But for now, this will work for what I need. Obviously, this doesn't work when you're in the frame. This method kind of sucks. See if I get this thing to move.
Looks like it moved a bit.
I don't think so. I don't think it wants to move. How much torque on it, you'd think it would move, but it doesn't want to. No. Alright. If we don't move with torque on it, untorque it all the way and move it then. There's no torque now. It's stuck. It moved that time. I like that better. So use a cross bolt pattern when you torque. I don't care if you start front or rear. Give it a little pull. Go to the next one. Give it a little pull. And you go back to the front bolt again. That's an X pattern. Another pull. Go like that. Torque. There you go. That's how you torque them. But that's not torqued all the way yet. So we double check our intake manifold again. Make sure we like it this time. Looks good. Okay. Now we're going to torque it for real. Where's your real torque wrench?
Somewhere over here.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Be like over here.
Yeah. Probably one of those.
Resembles one of these. Here's my short stubby socket or extension. Of course, it's on a 12-point socket for the late motor. There. See, it's a little short one. Versus the big one, see? So you need this to get just above the top of the rocker box so you can torque it. You have to get high enough to clear the box, see? If you have a lot of length in there, it screws the torque and it also makes it harder to torque because it wants to move. Okay, what torque rating are we going to use?
Beats me.
Beats you. I'm going to start at 52 or 50. How much did I pull the first time?
Again.
Not enough. this direction, the motor quits moving. Do my cross. Alright, see the first torque was for evils were light. Now we're at 52. And now we're going to crank it up. What's the next one we're going to go to?
55.
65. This is a Harley, we actually torque head bolts here. Trust this stupid torque wrench. It's moving too far before it stopped. This thing has a habit of not clicking. That's why I don't like clickers. Yeah, I never trust it. And that time it worked. Okay. I'll do the other side. We used the motor as a lever to hold it, so we used my other arm. You're working this time. Alright, our torqued. Harley torque and most of the stuff is 52 to 65, so 65. After you run it for a while, it shrinks down to 40. That seems to be what Japans are shoveling doing the last few years. They don't hold their torque like they used to. These are Teflon gaskets. They'll probably give up quite a bit, so I bet you it drops below 50 after it breaks in. So it doesn't hurt to come back and retorque this stuff, but it rarely happens. So when you're in a bike to do it, you got to have a universal joint coming off of here, which gives you a really bad angle. It doesn't work very well. These two have to be universally done. These four and these two here you can do with a short extension like this and get in there. So it's kind of a pain in the ass to use back too. But that's why I come into the push rod side. It works pretty good. Push the push rods out of the way, but it gives you a nice good solid wrench to get it in. So you get in there like that, you get a good pull. You can tell what you got when you pull it this way. See, tight. Alright, now the last thing you do is put your oil lines in the rest of the way. Now this you want to make sure you got the tube halfway between. See, this one's almost coming out. But see, it's all the way down, but see, it won't come out. That means it wouldn't have gone in either.
Yeah.
So slide the rubber up about 1/8 of an inch up from the top, then slide it up all the way until it hits, like that. So you get a good 1/8 inch insert on both of these probably. Then you tighten it. If the tube is only flush with the rubber, it'll leak, so it doesn't work too good. So just take these and tighten them down. These I do a little bit on each side at a time. That way it works equally on both. Make a pretty good torque on these. About that much is good. So you're squeezing a rubber, so tighten up pretty good. Okay, now this one here. Okay, that's all the way up and down, and so you only got about a 30-second clearance. So that means this tube, but there's no way this would have ever went into a motor. See, this is all the clearance I got. I shoved it all the way down on the bottom, as far as it'll go, and all the way up the top, and that's all I get extra. So, to put this in the motor, if it was completely assembled like it is now, you'd have to bend the push rod out probably about to here, and then bend it back, which tends to screw the chrome up a little bit. But if you notice, the chrome's already all screwed up right there. It's real rough. It's getting ready to flake off right there. And I didn't even bend it yet. Look at that thing. So, on this one here, it's close enough. Just tighten this one up like that, and the bottom one will be fine. It's inserted pretty good on both sides. Now, a lot of times I do the final torque with the intake manifold in, but in this case I know where it's at. It's pretty good, so put the manifold in later, which should be next. Okay, I'll make sure this is on the back side so it's out of the way. You hold it. Okay, you can move this a little bit if you have to clear the mag adjustment, or the mag screw. See, this is your kill button here. It's where you short this out and it doesn't work. Well, if it's hitting against the cover, it could be shorted. It wouldn't work. Bike wouldn't start. So you gotta make sure that's in there. So it goes in there like that and comes around and hits. So you can see how where the screws out down there. See how it clears? It would have hit the tube right there if it was in there. See? That's why that's cut away like that. So this has another adjuster goes in here, lifts it up a little bit higher, so it'll be up higher in the air. Yeah, it doesn't want to move. It'll sit about this high. That's where it normally would sit. So see, it clears it all the way around. You can go all the way here and doesn't hit anywhere. Otherwise it would short. All right, that's it for now. Get some more tools.